Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are watching this video. So, I'm in Greece at the moment, having finished a naked gathering of 26 people in the end. A couple of people came and left, so there was on average between 23, 26, I think 27 at one count, which was a gathering of souls, those that had been on the naked retreat that Dara and I have created over the last 4 years, and we came together, to let's say explore even deeper, to dive a little bit deeper. And whenever I've been a part of, a big group of people, of course, lots of different energies, and brings up a lot for everybody, and of course for me as well. And I'm in there too, I'm not there as the so-called superior leader of the group. See myself as the facilitator, the co-creator, the co-facilitator of a space to support and create safety for others. And of course there's leadership skills that are required for that, group skills and in navigating and motivating people. But I learned a lot from this gathering, learned many things that I won't do next time, and ways to cultivate space and ways to support others, especially bigger groups, because this is the biggest group for the longest period of time that we've actually taken, explored and gone on that exploration with. And the last few days, I've obviously been doing my own integration, sitting, and I was triggered a few times. And for anybody listening, if you don't know what triggered means, it's like, your emotional pain, or you're in frustration or resistance, or, in my case, I call it the pain body is activated. And I was checking in with that. What is coming up for me a few days after? And I was looking at, it always comes down to me about transparency, and where I wasn't actually communicating transparently in the moment with a few people, and that was bringing up some challenge for me. But as always, any challenge, any trigger is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to look at myself. And then I was noticing some frustrations and expectations I was then projecting outward onto Dara in this case, and onto other people in the space, but mostly in this instance it was projecting onto Dara about where she's not doing this, or she's not doing that, or I'm not feeling supported, or I'm not this, and I was in that sort of closure but openness at the same time, because we do this thing called celebrate the catch. So once you start to really understand this part of your psyche, this part of the emotional wounding, the emotional pains, you'll start to know clearly when you're in it and not in it. And so, you're in it, but you can't sometimes get out of it, because there's a sort of sense of, okay, maybe I even like being in this a little bit. And at the same time, so there's a sort of enjoyment aspect comes in. And at the same time, there's work to be done whilst you're in that aspect of your psyche. Yeah, there's cleaning to be done, there's refining, there's looking, there's inquiring. So in the early stages of going on this journey into the sort of wound and the pain body and so on, it can be a nightmare. It can just be dark night of the soul. You can feel depressed, you can feel anxiety, and you have no clue how to come out. But over time, in my instance, when you've been exploring with this for a long time, you know how to get out. You have tools and so on, but they don't always work, and you have to decipher which tool may serve you. And when I talk about tools, I mean it might be dancing and moving, it might be shaking, it might be screaming at the sky, it might be a sharing practice where we close our eyes and share with the person. It might be writing. Did I say writing practice, where you just cathartically just spit out everything onto the page. It could be a mix of all of those. Meditation, gibberish meditation. It could be active meditation. It could be swimming in the sea, walking in nature, really looking into nature, not just walking in it and being in your head, but like really dropping into the space that nature invites, the silence between the words, between what we're looking at. Could be a whole heap of other different practices that you personally have or that you know out there, but the point is that the switch is switching ourselves out of that feedback loop from hell, that diminishing thought pattern that goes round and round, that says one thing, takes you on a journey, says another, tells you that you're this, tells you that you're that, tells you that you're not good enough, tells you that the delta comes in, and then the self judge comes in telling you who are you, who are you to think that you can do this, and who are you to think you can do that, or look at you now, you say one thing but really you're doing something else, and who you're not, this is not an act of greatness. It could be any sort of diminishing, low vibrational thought pattern which links into a diminishing, limiting belief that you have in your subconscious. And then there's a beautiful book out there, which if you haven't read it, I can recommend it, called The Subconscious Mind is Killing You. It's actually a little ebook. You can read it in one day. It just gives a nice, quite simple breakdown of how the subconscious mind is really working. I love taking you around this beautiful land today. Yeah, so the subconscious mind is killing us if we don't look into and really explore the diminishing thought patterns that we have each day. So there's ways to doing that. You can do meditation, do specific guided meditations. There's a beautiful book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by a man called Dr. Joe Dispenza. Some people can't get down with this guy. Some people don't like his voice. This is the bamboo structure we created for our workshops. Yeah, some don't like his voice, but his meditation is guided meditation is really an awesome way of going into the subconscious and rewiring the subconscious, taking a conscious decision each moment to say change. So when you notice a diminishing thought coming up, a pattern of a limiting belief, lack, scarcity, whatever, because you've gone in to rewire that, you start to notice when it comes up how you're acting, how you're behaving, words that are coming out of your mouth, and you just say the word change. You can make up any word, whatever word creates that anchor for you, but it's you bringing deep observation and awareness to what is actually driving your thoughts, feelings, thus behaviors. So your thoughts and feelings create your state of being. So if all of a sudden you're constantly in diminishing thought patterns, you're constantly in this pain body feedback loop from hell, then of course, you're going to be acting like that. You're going to be acting from those diminishing thoughts. You're going to be acting from those limiting beliefs. And then you go out into the world and you don't see yourself in greatness. You see yourself in lack and scarcity and unworthiness. So you function from there. You attract relationships from there. You look for work from there. You start your career from there. You express your creativity from there, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this little video really, I wanted to talk about demonstrating greatness, but before that I had to create this sort of precursor in the talk that's coming up today around where I've been in my own pain body, and how wanting to start sharing these videos of what I go through, my processes are, and how I shift myself out and what I do and use to do that. Because I feel that might be beneficial for you. Tell me if you benefit from this video. Because as I said on one of my previous videos a while back, I want to just share content with you that's going to really help you awaken to the greatest version of yourself, which is already inside of you. Yeah, you're already complete, you're already whole, you're already a magnificent, unique, divine expression of life force. That's done. But we've got to clean the some of the noise and the false evidence appearing real. I created another little video on that as well. And also I want to share the video of demonstrating greatness, which really was this little dive inside was the outcome that I wrote morning pages, and on that morning pages it come full circle round to, okay, am I demonstrating greatness, and what has to change in me, in my actions, in my behaviors, in my processes, in my intentions, in order to allow that greatness to be more prominent in my day-to-day. And that's with the way that I show up with Dara and everybody else I meet, and how I engage with life. So it's been a nice 3 days of diving in, being activated in the pain, being triggered by a few things, and then having the opportunity to just spend time in self-inquiry, in introspection, and then looking, as always, how to dissolve that, transmute it like energy alchemists we are, and then come out into that elevated state of being, that exuberant state of inner peace, spaciousness, softening in the space, opening, and then being here, allowing that love to, and just energy to move freely, fluidly, with more flow. Because when we're in those diminishing thoughts and we're in those resistances and that pain, doesn't feel like there's much flow. Although on some level that is the flow at the time, but it don't feel flowy. It feels sticky and feels like that. For me anyway. That's the sound of when I'm in my pain body. So, ciao. Thank you for listening. Love from Greece. Made in China. Maybe we were made in China.